Hi, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Hispano Backstage. You might be wondering, what is going on here? Why are we so dressed up? So I want to introduce our special guest today. This is Justina Grant with Holman's. Hi, Justina.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what you do for Holman's.
I'm the Director of Marketing and Community Relations for Holman USA. We're an IT solutions provider here in New Mexico, locally owned. We've been rooted here for 70 years, 70-year legacy, and now we serve the Department of Energy nationwide.
And we just celebrated that birthday, right? We had a big celebration
last
at the Cultural
October.
Center.
You're correct. We had a big party at the Cultural Center, a center that is very important to our company and our late CEO.
So everybody knows Holman's. Holman's is a really big partner for the Hispano Chamber.
Yes.
We're so grateful for all that you do. But for those people who don't know what Holman's is, what do y'all do?
So we started out as a map shop in 1955. We sold surveying equipment, maps for everything. And then Holman's is a really great example of a company that has pivoted with the times as technology moves forward. In 1972, when the very first pocket calculator came out with HP, our former owner, Tony Trujillo, he jumped on that opportunity and told Mr. Holman, we have to resell this. And it made Holman's blow up. We've had really strong relationships with the Department of Energy lab since then. And so when Hewlett-Packard came out with the first computer, we were right there next in line. So we started reselling that. And then we partnered with Apple in 1987. And we've been partnering with them ever since. And now Holman's is the preferred JIT vendor on the small business side for HP, HPE, Apple for the entire DOE.
You know, I didn't know any of that until the celebration that we had last year for the birthday party. I didn't know the history. I always see Holman's, but it's really beautiful to think that started in Albuquerque, or at least the company continues to operate here and that it's local. So what does your role entail for Holman's? Like, what are some of the day-to-day operations that you do?
So my day-to-day involves our branding, so making sure that Holman's is pushed out there in terms of our marketing efforts. So making sure that my sales team just looks good at all the events that we go to. They're consistently going to labs throughout the country to meet in person with our customers, and so just making sure that they have all their banners, their swag items, just making sure that they are in a good position. Have the best swag.
We
do have good swag. Yeah. And then on the community side, we are very, very involved in the community. Like you said, we are very philanthropic, and it was something that was very important to Tony Trujillo, John Santoru. So I'm just there to really make sure that the community knows that we are partners, we're present, and we're always willing to give back.
Now, I love that you mentioned all the things that you do, and you say they have a strong foundation in philanthropy. Mm-hmm. It's interesting because as successful as a company it is, they're always on the ground roots of everything I know that we do at the Hispano Chamber. There's always an involvement, whether it's La Noche. Tell us your involvement with La Noche, because I feel like you guys do a lot for us there.
La Noche, yeah. So I think we've been the after party sponsor for quite a long time, and John Santoru loved being the after party sponsor for that event because he loved a good time. He loved a good conga line. So we would always do a conga line at those events. And yeah, we understand that how important La Noche is to the chamber and this organization. So it's something that we're proud to be a part of.
Now, we definitely want to talk about John. We'll save that here for a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about your career. Let's talk a little bit about little Justina and what Justina did to start off. Do you remember your first job?
I do. I was a hostess at Mario's Pizzeria on Paseo, 15. I went straight to work. I wanted to pay my own phone bill, have my own money, and I ended up working there from hostess, cashier, just working in the restaurant industry. It's a doozy.
A lot of people who've not, I personally have not worked in the restaurant industry for those roles, but I know a lot of our workforce, they always say, if you want to learn how to have good work ethic and
customer service,
absolutely. Especially in the restaurant industry. Mm-hmm. So what do you think some of that first job taught you?
Like I said, customer service, managing people, not only on staff, but customers that walk in. I think it's just a really good starting point, being like the first face that people see as soon as they walk in, and just learning just the trade and finances and stuff. I was cashier for a little bit, so I got to count all the money.
Oh, nice.
Which is cool, but also just relating to the people on staff. I'm still friends with a lot of people that met me when I was 15 at Mario's Pizza, which I think is special.
Very cool. Now, were you that hostess? I know, like today, if I can't get a seat, I'm like, here's $20. Could somebody get a good table by giving you some money?
You know what? I don't remember, but I wouldn't be shocked if I did do that.
You're like, Pizza. Here you go. You know what? You want to sit on the patio? Give me $50. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So
times.
first job was as a hostess, and then any other jobs following that kind of put you on the path to where you're at today?
Yeah, so I was working at Mario's through into college, and I studied abroad for a while, that's where I obtained my TEFL certificate.
Where did you go?
Madrid, Spain.
Oh, very cool.
It's like my second home. I love it there. And so after graduating, I got my TEFL certificate to go teach English, and so I taught English to anyone from 3 years old to like professional businesswomen in the
You're
companies.
bilingual. Maybe people in the community don't know that.
I am.
What is your ethnicity?
I'm Peruvian.
Yeah, so
I'm very Peruvian and proud.
Until, we got to know each other a little bit better.
Yeah, my mama's from Cusco.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And you just recently made a trip out there.
I did.
How was that? Was that
it was
life-changing?
fantastic.
Had you been before?
Yeah, I've been many times. I try to go at least like every 2 years. This trip was particularly special though because my younger sister, she hadn't been there in like over 10 years.
Happy birthday to your sister. She just had a birthday.
Yes, she turned 24 yesterday. Happy birthday, boo. And she hadn't been there in over 10 years, so it was really awesome for us to go experience that together because usually when I go, I'm by myself, showing myself the town. And so, yeah.
So you're bilingual. Cool. Mm-hmm. And did you have any mentors or anybody that really kind of inspired you? Did you have any of those managers, bosses, maybe friends in the community that inspired you to do what you do?
Yeah, so I would say one thing I didn't mention in my career, so after I came back from Spain, after studying abroad there for a while, I got an internship in the newsroom of Albuquerque Business First, and that is really what jump-started my career, I think, in the business community. I later learned that journalism wasn't my exact calling, but it still got the door open for me to go back. And so I would like to shout out Candace Beakey. She's a former publisher of Albuquerque Business First, and she opened the door and created a sales internship for me to go and learn sales. So I started, I think at 22 years old as a sales intern, and slowly grew up the ladder, and I finished as advertising sales director.
That's very cool. So the root of almost all your jobs have had kind of like that sales background.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Relationship building, I feel. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And ABF was so important because ABF is so ingrained in the community.
They are.
In my role, I was encouraged to go out to networking events, chamber events, and meet folks. And also, we hosted, 40 Under 40 awards, best places to work, so the community would come to us. Yeah. So I think it was very, very special it gave me the opportunity to meet people in all different kinds of industries, legal, healthcare, technology, which is how I eventually met my former boss, John Santoru.
Yeah, that's really good. And when you made your transition into the role that you have now, did you have to have some marketing experience? How do you tie marketing and the relationship building together?
Well, I think marketing is a large umbrella. There's a lot of things that fall under marketing. And I was experienced in advertising through ABF. And so I was already working with my counterparts. There were marketing directors. Those would be my main point of contacts at my clients' companies. And so I saw how they worked. I love branding, and, Holman's has an amazing story, an amazing legacy. And it's pretty, I don't want to say easy, but it's an awesome opportunity to go tell that story, and so I wanted to jump on the opportunity.
Well said. One of the things that I love that you do in the community is you're always networking. You're always a part. Here at the Hispano Chamber, when we have our Vis Gratis events, whenever we're doing anything socially, we can always count on you to be there.
I appreciate
that. Can you
tell
anybody watching the community why it's so important to kind of get out there and network for your business?
Yeah, going out in the community and meeting people is extremely impactful. I would say I'm very grateful that I was able to take advantage of the networking prior to COVID. I went everywhere. I took every opportunity to go meet people. Not only was I, searching for clients and prospecting, but I've met a lot of friends by doing that. And so when COVID hit and everybody was indoors and networking wasn't really an option anymore, I was very lucky that I had already implemented myself in the community. So coming out of it, it was much easier to go back in those spaces, and because I already knew a lot of people. And yeah, networking changes your life, and it doesn't always have to be business focused. I mean, it is, but it's just a great way to meet folks. Like, you're always one person, one connection away from, the next chapter in your life.
A lot of people talk about this. It's relationship building.
Absolutely.
Right? And in our community in Albuquerque, we're not a big metropolitan area. We're not a Denver or a Phoenix. So showing up places and building those relationships, comes in handy, right?
It shows,
And
yeah.
I feel like you do a really good job of that.
Thank you.
So recently you just received an award. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I am very, very honored to have received a Women Who Mean Business Award. It was previously called Women of Influence with Albuquerque Business First. And what's really special, I mean, for years while working at ABF, I've seen so many women take the stage and accept the award. Actually, when I was a newsroom intern, I used to write the profiles for those women. And I would think, wow, that is so cool to, I looked up to these women as really big role models and inspiration. So it was a very big honor to me to receive that this year. And even better, the class was just full of so many of our friends. Roberta Ritchie with the chamber was part of it. Woo-woo. What an honor to be recognized alongside of her. Are you kidding? So it was an awesome event just to have so many friends there, and they brought their friends. Yeah, it was just a good time.
That room had a ton of energy, and
so much energy.
I love that story. Is that you used to help write the stuff?
Yeah.
You're behind the scenes, and here you are receiving the award.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Amongst many awards, by the way, but that is the most recent one that you got. Okay, so let's now fast forward a little bit to why we are dressed in the way we are. You and I just left a segment for New Mexico.
Yeah,
Living.
This is not a gender reveal, even though it looks like one.
That's funny. Yeah, a boy or girl, we'll find out at the end.
We'll find out the Derby Day.
But yeah, you're right. We just filmed with Logan at New Mexico Living, who we love. Shout out to Logan.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Derby Day.
Derby Day New Mexico is the most anticipated event for Holman's every single year. Holman's USA has been hosting it since 2017, I want to say. And it was an event that was very important to our late CEO. And it historically, it's benefited different organizations. Most recently, it's been focused on the New Mexico Cancer Center Foundation. And this year is extra important because now it's going to benefit John's Legacy Fund.
Yes.
In turn, also going to the Cancer Center Foundation. But yeah, no, it's a great, fun day to not only give back to the community, but network, see a lot of good folks in the community. And also you get to play games, win prizes. We give you a mint julep as soon as you walk in. It's so much fun. Yeah.
We wanted to get involved in the Hispano Chamber. How this happened is one board meeting, John was like, hey, we should get the Hispano involved with Derby Day. And I said, say less. How can we get involved?
It's an absolute fit. I'm surprised we didn't do it before.
I agree. It's a great collaboration because in so many different ways we get to share the same network.
Yeah.
We have a member base of 1,400 people. And as you know, as we sit in our committee meetings, there's a lot of times of Eric, who at the Hispano Chamber can do this for us. And so we're able to extend that effort to our businesses as well. And thank you so much for including us because we get to have Hispano Chamber all over the Derby Day. And we're so grateful. It means the most
to us. Yeah.
Same. So let's talk a little bit about John.
Okay.
All right. John was, for myself, a big influence. When I came to the Hispano Chamber of Commerce and I got to go to my first board meeting, he was one of the very first people that welcomed me and gave me some words of advice about philanthropy and immediately became that person that I wanted to make proud and make happy.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your impression of the late John?
Yeah. So John Santoru was a wonderful man. It's very, very beautiful to hear everybody else's experience with him or about him because it's also similar. His generosity was through the roof. He had a really big heart, and it's so special that everybody that got to know him saw that. I don't think you can say that about many individuals. So John, he purchased the company and he became sole owner in 2022. I actually met him the day that he bought the company. Wow. We were at an Isotopes game and everybody was cheersing and I was like, what are we celebrating? Oh, this guy just purchased Holman's, and I was still at ABF at the time. So I was like, that's breaking news. Can I tell my newsroom? Next day, the article was out about him buying the business, and he would love to tell people that because I didn't start working for him until 2 years later.
I'm sure he did.
That I broke the story on him buying the business, and so Holman's was my client, and I got to know John really well, and I really admired him not only as a business leader, but I knew that's somebody I wanted to be mentored by. So going over to Holman's and working for him was one of the best decisions for not only my career, but personally, he was just such a great mentor and good human being.
And his beautiful family, too.
Oh,
Sarah,
yeah.
who we love. And then his kids, who we just got to hang out with as well.
Yes, we did on New Mexico Living.
Yeah, we did. So what's one lesson that he left with you? What's his legacy? How does his legacy live through you?
I'm going to try to go through this without tearing up. John told me that giving back to the community was his legacy, and that was the most important part to him. If he could impact lives in the present and see that impact as well, and not necessarily we do fund a lot of organizations, but not even through donating, but just connecting people. He wanted to be there to introduce other people to create grander opportunities. And he just wanted to make you feel good. I know he made a lot of people just feel seen, not judged, and it was a very personal touch that he had when it came to impacting lives.
And he did a beautiful job of that.
Yeah.
He really did. Well, thank you for sharing that. So Derby Day is coming up.
Yes,
give us a shout out
is.
again for the date and the website.
May 2nd, 1 to 5:30 p.m. at Winrock Park. It's our second year doing it at Winrock. They are great partners to us, so we love bringing everything out there. And we're going to have casino games, live auction experiences, which will be fun. And then the Derby Day, the actual Kentucky Derby race, gets live streamed closer to the end of the event. And tickets are available at derbydaynm.org.
Well, listen, should we plug Avanti Milano?
Oh, please plug Avanti Milano.
Let's plug. So where we got our clothes, how we're dressed today, we have a partner, Avanti Milano at Cottonwood Mall. So if you're looking to get something for that day, because they have a best dressed competition.
They have a best dressed, which this gentleman won last year, and a best hat for all the ladies.
Corey behind the camera smirked. You see, I went like this, and she was like,
True.
eye roll, total eye roll. But they do. He dressed you. He dressed me as well.
Yes,
so if
he
you're
did.
looking for something, and you don't have to go all out.
You don't. I mean, even a summer dress is perfect for that. I don't want people to not attend because they don't know what to wear, just anything. Come dressed up. It's summery. If you want to go all out and dapper, do it. And if you want to come simple, that's okay too. We're just there to have a good time.
Well, I got a little surprise. I'm working on my outfit for this year because I got to kind of follow it up with that. I didn't want to wear it today, so I wore last year's.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to ruin it.
That's fair.
Is that fair?
You also want to show off the best dressed.
That's right.
Yes.
We don't want to show what won last year. So, well, Justina, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
We
me.
appreciate your partnership with the Chamber. We're grateful to have you as an ally. And if there's anything else that we can do to assist you and this great foundation for John and the family, please let us know. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys later.